Over the course of 20 years, Rhett and Link went from two friends from North Carolina to YouTube legends. Let's talk about that.
Nostalgia.
Rhett McLaughlin and Charles Lincoln Link Neal met on the 4th of September 1984 on the first day of first grade at Buies Creek Elementary School in North Carolina. They became really close through their school years, having similar hobbies and the same crazy sense of humor. As they got older, they started working on all sorts of creative projects together, even a screenplay for something called Gutless Wonders, which they went on to read on Good Mythical Morning. As teenagers, they were both part of a Christian punk rock band, which feels almost oxymoronic. After graduating high school, the pair both moved to North Carolina State University, where they moved in together as roommates. Rhett studied civil engineering, whilst Link studied industrial engineering. Schuler actually did engineering for a while, so I thought it'd be cool to get an insight on how that actually was. After graduating, Rhett got a job at Black & Veatch, whilst Link got a job at IBM. They had these jobs for a while before quitting to join a religious group called Crew. Crew was an interesting group. Many GMM fans have actually referred to it as a cult, but it was more of a religious missionary group. Their job was to create comedy videos and sketches for the group. I guess kind of an early taste of what was to come. Rhett and Link both grew up Christian and spent a lot of time at Crew, but after a while, they left and moved away from their faith. They've talked openly about that process and how difficult it was, while staying respectful to the religion and to the people that they knew. In 2006, the duo joined YouTube, posting comedy and musical videos on their channel, very cleverly named Rhett and Link. They became known for bangers like the barbecue song.
In the mountains of Tennessee, they like the smoky sauce. But over there in old Memphis, a dry rub ribs balls.
They were fairly popular for early YouTube days, hitting 30k by the start of 2009. Nowadays you might say that doesn't seem like a lot, but to that I say, shut up. In 2009, they founded Mythical Entertainment, basically just a brand that they could register as legally owning the channels, handle contracts and payments better, and pretty much make every business aspect easier. They explain in this video that they got the Mythical name from way back in first grade, when they both got in trouble for writing profanities on their desks, and they sat together, colouring in mythical creatures. It's the foundation of their friendship, and one of the cutest things I've heard in my goddamn life. And keep the fact that Mythical Entertainment is technically a business in your mind. It will come back later. Over the next few years, the pair began attracting a bigger audience, with their amazing chemistry and downright ridiculous sense of humour. And by the start of 2011, Rhett and Link had over 600,000 subscribers. Then, on the 3rd of January, they started a new morning show. It was groundbreaking. It's iconic. You know the name. Good Morning Cheer Lincoln. What? Good Morning Cheer Lincoln was pretty similar to Good Mythical Morning. It was just a morning show where they would pick a topic or a news story to talk about, then they'd discuss it and give their own opinions. The name came from the fact that the show had its own mascot, a cheer pet in the shape of Abraham Lincoln's head. I love America. Good Morning Cheer Lincoln ended on February 28th, less than 2 months after the show started. They had to end it because half the cheer pet died, leaving a large part of its head missing. Same thing happened to my JFK one. I blame Leaf Harvey Oswald. Shortly after the show ended, they landed their own reality TV show called Commercial Kings, where they travelled across the country finding small businesses and making adverts for them. I actually learned while making this that they were behind the iconic Chuck Tester video.
I specialize in the most lifelike dead animals anywhere, period.
Hold on a second. There's a leopard feeding on an impala out on my deck.
Nope. It's just Chuck Testa with another realistic mount.
Oh no, there's a bear in my bed.
Nope. Chuck Testa.
After getting their own TV show, they knew they'd made it to the big leagues and moved to LA. The show was cancelled shortly after. They decided to go back to what they were doing before, as it was working really well for them. So they repurposed an old channel of theirs, and on January 9th, 2012, they released the first ever episode of Good Mythical Morning. It's worth giving a disclaimer at this point that this is the least I've known about a subject going into one of these videos. You can probably tell I've spent a lot of my life on YouTube, So I already knew a fair amount about Rhett and Link, but the only episode I could genuinely say I knew that I'd watched was the Stampy one back in the day. I research as extensively as I can, but I am a one-man team in that department, so if I have got anything wrong or missed anything that you think is important, let me know in the comments. Good Mythical Morning was the same format as Good Morning Cheer Lincoln, except they were now in a studio in LA, and they had new aspects like the Wheel of Mythicality, which contained suggestions from fans on how to end each episode. The first episode of GMM was called Extremely OCD Morning Routine. And honestly, most of the video is just Rhett talking about how he doesn't want to talk about Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber.
New episodes of the show were set to come out every weekday at 6 AM Eastern Time. And to be fair, even to this day, they've stayed fairly consistent to that. On the 12th of January 2013, the Rhett and Link channel hit 1 million subs. Their first time hitting a milestone of that magnitude, but definitely not the last. Good Mythical Morning went for 3 seasons before they took a break, starting April 5th, 2013. That's over a year of releasing videos every day. I struggle with bi-weekly. During this break, they hosted The Mythical Show, which was kind of a mashup of every show they'd ever done. It had music, commercials, guest stars, even the Wheel of Mythicality. It was released weekly, and the first episode had special guests, like Tobuscus and the Fine Bros. That aged like milk in a locked car on a sunny day. The Mythical Show only lasted a few months, ending in July, before Good Mythical Morning came back with a 4th season in September. Season 4 saw the introduction of the Taste Test series, which became one of their biggest shows. In fact, their most viewed video is this format from Season 6. Season 4 also saw the introduction of Good Mythical More, a secondary channel which held extra content from after every episode, where they continue the conversation, play a game related to the topic, and more. Over the next few years, the channels continued to grow. And in the 10 months I've been doing this show, I've never seen a channel with exponential growth like this. The consistency of the videos built such a strong audience and momentum through the 2010s that they just grew and grew and grew. They slowed down a little from 2018 onwards, but that doesn't change the fact that they averaged 1.6 million subs a year for a straight decade. We're getting ahead of ourselves though. In January 2014, Good Mythical Morning hit 1 million subscribers, weirdly being the 3rd January in a row to have a big milestone for the two. As they continued, they kept creating more unique ideas for shows. They started Will It Blank, the first episode airing on Cinco de Mayo, being called Will It Taco. Aye aye aye. The show gained such widespread and interestingly mainstream attention that it was everywhere. Rhett and Link even ended up playing Will It Tea with Jimmy Fallon.
Oh my gosh! I can't believe it, buddy!
While we're talking about famous collaborations, let's talk about some of the crazy guest stars they managed to land on this show. As the show grew, it gained an audience of celebrities who were dying to get on. They had Daniel Radcliffe, PewDiePie, Zach King, Bill Hader, Jack Black, Weird Al, Craig Robinson, and me. That one was a lie. And with all that, as well as an imperial shitload of other videos, they hit 1,000 episodes in October of 2016. To give you an idea of how long they've done this show, around the time they hit 1,000 episodes, Nico Rosberg won the F1 championship after years of fighting Hamilton, Moana was released, and the Washington Post released footage of Donald Trump boasting about kissing and groping women. At least now there's no chance he's gonna get voted in. They celebrated 1,000 episodes by watching old clips, hearing messages from fans, and reminiscing about the last 4.5 years. Also, shout out to the guy in the comments who said, "Wow, seems like yesterday I saw episode 999. Made me chuckle. 6 days later, on October 19th, their new show launched on YouTube Premium, YouTube Red at the time, called Rhett and Link's Buddy System. It was a musical sitcom about them trying to get their channel back after an infomercial star steals Link's phone and starts posting her adverts on there. It was fairly well received and got renewed for a season 2 when they completely switched things up. The premise for this season was that it was set in an alternate universe where Rhett and Link were never best friends. I've only read about the show, I haven't had the honor of watching it, so if you think it's something worth watching, let me know. Hey, Fob and I could even react to it. In 2017, the duo released their book, Rhett and Link's Book of Mythicality, a field guide to curiosity, creativity, and tomfoolery. Catchy. They did a tour for the book called the Tour of Mythicality, where they read and performed the book in front of a live audience. And then, in November 2018, a prominent MCN in the YouTube space, Defy Media. Oh my god, how many times? Okay, going over to other Ben for this one, because I can't be fucked. In 2013, a digital media company called Break Media merged with a multi-channel network known as Alloy Digital. This merged company was then called Defy Media. They owned multiple large channels, notably Smosh and Clever, as well as being MatPat's place of work. In November 2018, the channel went under, with some of the higher-ups running away with all of the money and leaving the channels like Smosh homeless. Dickheads. Thanks, handsome. Remember I said earlier that they set up Mythical Entertainment as a real business entity back in the day? Well, now it was going to come in handy. In March 2019, after learning about their situation and having some behind the scenes talks, Rhett and Link bought Smosh and brought it under the Mythical umbrella, saving them from what had looked like a downward spiral towards the end. Smosh worked out of the Mythical studios and have said publicly that Rhett and Link gave them a creative freedom that they hadn't had since before Defy. If you want to learn more about that situation, watch this video, or this video, or basically any nostalgia, it always comes up. That June, Mythical Kitchen launched, alongside season 17 of Good Mythical Morning. Mythical Kitchen is a cooking show, hosted by the mythical chef, Josh Scherer. And it was one of the earlier parts of their expansion of Mythical Studios, featuring other guest chefs, including another producer of theirs, Trevor Everts. Hey, that guy looks familiar. 2019 was also the year that Rhett and Link won their first Streamy. They won Audience Choice Award for Show of the Year, beating out TMG, The Try Guys, Hot Ones, and more. And then they launched the Mythical Society, a subscription-based community where viewers can access behind the scenes, early access, and extras. It was clearly a success because they turned it into an app in 2020 and it's still active to this day. Speaking of 2020, that was a fun year. Obviously, COVID made it so they had to do the show remotely and scale it down so that there was only 3 videos a week. They did have some pre-recorded videos from before lockdown, which helped to fill some of the gaps. And then, as restrictions loosened, they went back to normal. One thing that made 2020 so tough was we lost the rapper Pop Smoke to gun violence, and Link paid a touching tribute to him.
I knew that.
Oh, okay. Cheers to
Rest
this.
in peace, Pop Smoke.
Okay. Rest in peace who?
Pop Smoke. See, I'm hip to that. Got a brand new whip, just hopped in.
A year later, in July 2021, Good Mythical Morning hit 2,000 episodes, which they celebrated with a similar montage-filled trip down memory lane. I mean, they've been doing this show since 2012, they've been on YouTube since 2006, and they've been making videos longer than any of us can know. To give you an idea of how long that is, if you were born the same day that Rhett and Link posted their first video, you'd be 3 days younger than this guy. In the 2,000 episode special, they received all sorts of messages of support, from friends, family, and fans. Even Link's dad made a cameo, which I can only assume was shot on an IMAX camera.
And it's so good that somebody like you two could do this like you've been together all your life, and that it's fun and makes a lot of people laugh.
Rhett and Link's dads are kind of a staple of the show, not appearing often, but being on top form when they do.
What kind of music do you like right now?
Hip hop.
Well, do you like Imagine Dragons?
They're all right, yeah. Imagine Dragons is all right.
You imagine dragging these nuts over your face?
And now I want you to imagine something. Imagine being on YouTube and discovering a small channel, doing a fun, refreshing show, putting a new spin on the commentary genre, and then you, like an idiot, finish the video and leave without subscribing. That'd be crazy, right? Well, actually, around 97% of the people who watch my videos aren't yet subscribed. So if you are enjoying the video, then please do subscribe and turn on notifications, because we are so close to 1,000 subs. And if we hit it before Halloween, I'll make a video about whatever the top comment says. Back to what we were talking about. That October, they started Good Mythical Evening, an annual ticketed event hosted by Rhett and Link. But it features violence, vulgarity, and adult content that shouldn't be allowed on a morning show or YouTube. Because of this, it's limited to a mature audience, unlike other live events they've done. And then, just a few months afterwards, in January 2022, Good Mythical Morning turned 10 years old. A stat that solidifies you as YouTube royalty. As I said, I didn't watch a lot of Rhett and Link before working on this video, but I'm gonna stick with them. Their dynamic is playful and their videos are fun. But behind that is a friendship that goes back over 40 years. These two are the perfect example of a true, pure friendship. They unlock each other's younger, playful side, and as a viewer, you feel like part of it. I can see why this show means so much to so many, and how it's lasted over a decade now. You don't make it 10 years in a space that moves this fast without being something special. And that's exactly what they are. After that, they continued to grow more. What I really like about the way that Rhett and Link run Mythical is that it feels like it grows as a community rather than as a brand. In October 2022, they hosted the first Mythicon, a fan festival with multiple days of events and meet and greets. And in March 2023, they started a live TV channel, which runs Mythical entertainment shows 24/7. It's available on Roku, Prime Video, Plex, and more. It's awesome to me that YouTubers can become this mainstream and influential, and it's great that it's Rhett and Link. June 2023, after looking after the Smosh brand for 4 years, it was time to send it home. The channels were passed from one iconic YouTube duo to another, with Rhett and Link selling it back to Ian Heacox and Anthony Padilla, making the channels their own again, for the first time in 12 years. Ian and Anthony were so grateful to Mythical that they decided to repay them by stealing Trevor. And finally, in 2024, Rhett and Link donated the original Good Mythical morning mic and blindfolds to the National Museum of American History. They even saw some old friends there, cause they're old. And we're up to date. Good Mythical Morning's going strong. In fact, all of Mythical Studios is. They're on season 28 of Good Mythical Morning, and Mythical Kitchen is 5 years and 1,300 videos deep. The fact that two buddies from North Carolina who spent their entire life just pursuing fun and entertainment actually managed to become the superstars they are now is a testament to what makes me love this platform. And hopefully you have some appreciation for it as well. I loved researching and making this video. The last episode was about game theory, which was suggested by you guys, and it's now my most popular video. That one doesn't count. If you have any ideas for a Nostalgia, let me know down below. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, make sure your notifications are on, and I will catch you for the next catch up. Bye!
Chilcott dude will return.